Howdy, welcome to the 14th episode of the Mario Marathon. This time around, I'm looking at the classic for the Super Nintendo, Super Mario World. So the NES was a super successful console and all, and for its time it was a huge leap from the previous generation of beep boops. But come the new decade, it was looking kinda old news. 8-bit memory was old news. NEC put out the wonderful PC Engine, also known as the TurboGrafx-16, and it sported way more vibrant colors. It was clear, gaming was headed in the direction of arcade-looking games at home, and then Sega came along. At least in Japan and the US, Sega was a fucking joke to Nintendo. They had great arcade games that were very successful, but I'm talking the home consoles, right? The SG-1001 was so obscure I bet most of you have no idea what that is. And the Master System was a nice little console that didn't compete with the Nintendo at all outside of Europe. But then the fucking Genesis happened. The Sega Genesis Evangelion, known outside the US as the Mega Drive, went for the throat. Sega was specifically out to end Nintendo's tyranny. The ads in America straight up be talking shit. This is the start of the very first real console war. I guess technically you can count the ColecoVision and the Intellivision, but that's boring compared to this shit. Kids would fight on the playground all about what's better, Nintendo or Sega. And this was before a certain blue hedgehog made the rounds. Nintendo couldn't stand idly by. They had to respond to the coming console generation. In 1990, the world saw the birth of the Super Famicom. Just like the NES, it was localized and redesigned in other territories to become the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I fucking love this NES. It might even be my favorite console of all time, but it's so close to the PS1 in my heart. It at least houses all of my top 4 favorite games of all time, so that definitely means something to me. A fancy new console means a fancy new controller, and this baby is one of the absolute best. It adds 2 new buttons, the X and Y buttons, as well as shoulder buttons, L and R. It's not too much, but not too little. When I think of the perfect controller for games that don't require analog, I think of this one. It's comfy in the hands too, with its dog bone look. Parents here in the States were actually pretty pissed about having to upgrade their kids' consoles since this was such a new concept. Watching this old news report is the funniest shit. When the team at Nintendo first started experimenting with a Mario game for the new Super Nintendo console, they started by porting Mario 3 and working from there. In a lot of early beta screenshots, you can see the Mario sprite is reminiscent of the Mario 3 one, as well as the Super Leaf being in the game for where it wasn't in the final. Believe it or not, Super Mario World, or as it was subtitled in Japan, Super Mario Bros. 4, was made only by 10 people. Miyamoto, the rank bastard, was back to work on the game, but Tezuka was the actual director. Mario World was a big technical leap, don't get me wrong, but it stuck to the same formula as Mario 3 with some tweaks. Development took 2 years, which was about 6 months shorter than Mario 3's. Super Mario World was released in Japan for the Super Famicom on November 21st, 1990.
Introducing the next generation from Nintendo, New Super Mario World, created especially for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. It's a bit more exciting, a bit more challenging, a bit more graphic, a bit more colorful, a bit more realistic, a bit more levels, a bit more secret, a bit more enemies, a bit more friends, a bit more sound, a bit hotter, a bit cooler, a bit weird, a bit more revolutionary, a bit more Mario, a bit more of what you want. It's 16-bit, and it's yours only if you get New Super Nintendo. Now you're playing with power, superpower.
Mario, Luigi, and Peach all decide they need a vacation from Bowser's bullshit, so they all visit a nearby island called Dinosaur Land. Yeah, this is the 90s, everyone was obsessed with dinosaurs. Jurassic Park, Power Rangers, fucking dinosaurs. Yeah, so this place also houses Yoshi's Island, the home of the Yoshis. Yoshis are cute little dinosaur dudes that have elongated tongues and can lay eggs. They also have saddles, so they're rideable. Anyway, the first thing you see when you start a new file is this.
Welcome to Dinosaur Land. It seems that Princess Toadstool is missing, and that means Bowser must be up to his old tricks again.
Fucking immediately, okay. Dude can't even wait until the last world this time, like, alright. Wow, Peach sure does get kidnapped a lot. I sure hope this isn't a pattern. I really enjoy how different Dinosaur Land is from the Mushroom Kingdom. There's no toads, so that's a plus. Also, I like how the fire flowers are tulips here instead of the usual circular design. It's cute. Mario feels about the same as he does in Mario 3, which was basically perfect, so I ain't complaining. The P-meter is gone, but Mario still does that stupid airplane arm thing he does when he's at full speed. The little dude has a few new tricks up his sleeve too. New to this game is the spin jump. It's basically what it sounds like. You press A to do a little spin that isn't as high as the main jump, but it's still super useful as an attack. There's no brick blocks in this game, strangely though. Instead, there's these flip blocks that don't stay broken, except when you spin jump on top of them, meaning that this is the first time you can break blocks from above. Oh yeah, there's one other new part of Mario's moveset too. He can look up now. Exciting. Speaking of which, you can now throw shells upward instead of just left and right. The last thing to mention is that this game gives you an item repository where you can collect a power-up with one already equipped. If you get hit, or press select, the item in your repository falls from the sky for you to collect. It's weird, when you get hit with a tier 2 power-up, you go back to Small Mario just like Mario 1. I thought Mario 3 changed this, but it's the same in all regions now. Odd. So you're journeying around through the game, and eventually you hit a block that reveals an egg that quickly hatches. This is Yoshi. Yeah, just like how there's a Toad named Toad, there's a Yoshi named Yoshi. Yoshi's a cute little fella, he's always so happy. He's definitely one of the best Mario characters. Yoshi tells Mario that Bowser kidnapped all the other Yoshis and trapped them in eggs. Yoshi, this Yoshi, ventured off to save them, when he himself got captured too. He asked Mario to help him, and just like that, a lifelong ally is gained. Yoshi is a sort of power-up, kinda. He's a mount. Yes, motherfucker, you can ride Yoshi and use him to jump on enemies you can't normally. He can eat stuff, and he can even help you gain airtime. Depending on the different color Koopa shells Yoshi eats, they can also perform a different ability. Later on in the game, you can ride different colored Yoshis that use these abilities with anything in their mouth, too. Red corresponds with fire, yellow is stomping on the ground to wipe out all the enemies in the immediate area, and blue is flight. Neat little dino dudes. Later on, you come across these baby Yoshis. Look at these dumb fuckers, they're a whole ass mood. When you find one, if you hold it and feed it stuff, the Yoshi will eventually grow into a full adult Yoshi. This is how you unlock the other color Yoshis, by the way. Sadly, the Raccoon Leaf and suits aren't back from Mario 3. Instead, we have the Cape Feather. The Cape Feather is about as common as the Raccoon Leaf, and works kind of similarly. You can use the same spin attack with it, but with a way better range. Slowly descent when holding the jump button, and you can even fly when running at full speed. When you run at full speed with the Cape Feather and hold down the jump button, Mario heads for the sky. To keep flying, you have to master the timing of pressing left and right. If you're good enough, you could skip whole levels this way. Aiming yourself straight down into the ground will do a screen clearing attack kinda like yellow Yoshi's. And if you get hit while flying, you actually don't take damage. Instead, you get shot down like a fucking plane. There's also one other new power-up, but it's much more rare. This is the P-Balloon. Please, don't Google image search the P-Balloon. It temporarily lets Mario inflate himself, just like a balloon, for a little bit. This dumbass power-up will always remind me of the worst level in the series up to this point, Tubular. An incredibly evil level where you have to float across a long pit guarded by tons and tons of charging chucks, throwing footballs at you. I hate it. In nearly every level, you'll find at least 5 dragon coins hidden throughout. If you get all of them in a level, you get a 1-up. Pretty simple. This game also adds an incredibly rare 3-up moon that does just what I said. It gives you 3 lives. Levels will have these nice little message blocks to tutorialize some aspects of the game, showing we are finally past the crypticness of the NES era. Awesome. Although, I tend to skip these even when I didn't know what I was doing, because this game is pretty easy to pick up and understand when you have experience with other platformers. Checkpoints are back because levels are back to being not short as shit, so that's pretty nice. This time the checkpoints are actually visible. There are these little posts with tape you run through. If you're Small Mario, you get an automatic mushroom for going past these. To clear each level, there's a giant gold tape at the end, and the tape goes up and down. You can just walk past these and still clear the level, but if you hit the tape, you get star points. And the higher on the pole the tape is, the more points you get. The star points get added to a total, and when you get 100 total, you get to play a bonus game for lives. Just like Mario 3, variety was on the top of the developers' to-do list. You can climb on cages and flip to the other side of them, activate platforms with switch blocks, pick up blocks and smash them, run up walls, hit these little random roulette blocks for random item. You can jump on dolphins. Dolphins are cool. There's even a new level type, the ghost houses. These levels are riddled with boos and a new enemy, the Eries. These are tricky levels where oftentimes you'll have to solve a puzzle to finish. These levels just love to make you think. I like them. Super Mario World lives up to the fucking name, man. Remember the 8-world structure? Fuck that shit. Throw it out the dang window. You don't need that anymore. All the worlds are interconnected as one huge map. It still has distinct areas with fortresses to fight and Koopalings at the end, so it's not too different from Mario 3, but it's still a huge upgrade. These areas are Yoshi's Island, Donut Plains, Vanilla Dome, the Twin Bridges of Cookie Mountain, the Forest of Illusion, Choco Island, and the Valley of Bowser. If you're keeping count, that's only 7 worlds. Down 1 of the usual 8. But that's not completely true, as this game actually has 9 worlds. You see, the levels in this game are indicated usually by a yellow circle on the map screen, but some have red circles. This means that level has a secret exit. Secret exits are just what the name implies, goals hidden within a level that, when found, take you to hidden areas on the map, sometimes to all new secret levels. To clear this secret exit, you gotta find these keys and put them in these Kingdom Hearts-ass keyholes, often nearby. When you unlock the keyhole, it makes the THX noise. The addition of secret levels is cool as hell, again adding the sense of mystery I love in the mainline Mario games. I've mentioned this way back in the Mario 1 video. A huge part of what makes Mario special compared to other platformers is the secrets. And this game ain't just got the secret levels though, it's got secret worlds. 2 in fact, but I'll save them for when I talk about the post-game. Because of all the secret exits and secret levels and whatnot, this game is gracious enough to add the little notice feature of replaying levels, which, believe it or not, you couldn't do in any of the previous Mario games. You can even find secret castles where instead of fighting a Koopaling, you take on these Triceratops called Reznors, named after Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails. One of the best reasons to look for secret exits is for the Switch Palaces. You see, throughout the game, you'll see colorful outlines where it seems some blocks should be. That's because blocks should be there. Hidden throughout the world are 4 Switch Palaces, little areas with a giant switch at the end corresponding to the color of the block. These 4 colors, red, blue, yellow, and green, actually correspond with the 4 colors of the Super Famicom logo and controller. Also, on top of the normal red and green Koopas, this game has yellow and blue Koopas, so they correspond with the logo too. Neato. Anyway, these blocks typically serve as platforms to make the game a little easier, and only the yellow ones are actually hittable. Skip these guys if you want the game to be harder, but I always get them every playthrough. The Koopaling fights in this game are a lot more unique. Sure, you see most of them twice, like the fight with Larry is just a harder version of the Iggy fight, but it's way more variety than Mario 3 had, with each fight having a gimmick. There's even another boss fight aside from Reznor, with Big Boo, this giant Boo found in one of the ghost houses. After you finish a castle, the game plays these adorably charming cutscenes where Mario commits a war crime, or disposes of the castle in some cartoony way. One last thing on the maps, cause I couldn't fit this back there earlier without breaking the flow. I love how the map is one huge world, but it's rather annoying having it to slowly backtrack. There is sort of a way to skip around, which I'll again cover in the post-game, but it's kinda hidden and doesn't fully solve the issue. Let's get on the enemies, cause I talk about those every episode. So my battle advisor said that I should probably cut the Rogues Gallery segment because they sort of break the flow, and looking back I couldn't help but agree. So I'm just going to talk about the highlights here. The first level of this game is so iconic. It's full of slanty platforms never before seen in previous Mario games, and these new enemies called Rex. I always thought it was weird, right? Rexes are so iconic to Mario World, like everyone remembers them from this game. But if I remember right, they were only ever in 3 levels. Their design is cool. If you jump on them, they get scrunched up like an accordion and get faster. You have to jump on them again to kill them, but if you spin jump it, you can knock them all out in one hit. They're cool, just weird in retrospect. Just like how there's barely any Rexes in the game, I find it super strange that they went out of their way to bring back Ninjas, this obscure enemy from Super Mario Bros. 2, for literally 1 room of the last level of the game. On top of that, there's only like 2 of them. Also, they just used the original 8-bit sprites, so they look incredibly out of place. It's weird. But then wait. Upon further research, Eddie found that some sources called these specific guys mini ninjas, and according to the 1994 lore book, Nintendo Mario Mania Player's Guide, being cooped up in Bowser's castle has driven the mini ninja batty. He bounces up and down, waiting for a hapless hero to use as a punching bag. Speaking of Mario 2, Pokies are back, and with a great new design. Fun fact, normally they have 3 digits, but when riding Yoshi they have 5. I think this is so that you can jump over them without Yoshi and eat the digits with Yoshi? I don't know. Back to the first level, one of my most formative memories of playing video games has gotta be just running through Yoshi's Island 1. Being a dumb kid that doesn't know no better and BAM! Hit in the face with a bonsai bill. That scared the shit out of me, but it's a very memorable moment. I think this is the only real Mario game without Goombas. Okay, like, Super Mario Land had Goombos, but that's only really a name change. Functionally, they're the same. World has Galoombas, which work totally different than a Goomba. When you jump on them, they get flipped over and you can pick them up and throw them. It's weird, but I kinda appreciate that Nintendo wasn't afraid to switch shit up like that and not fall back into the Mario status quo like they do nowadays. What's weirder is they're not even the main enemies. Koopas are way more common in this game. Koopas have officially evolved. They are now bipedal, holy shit! Yeah, kind of a minor change, but they used to be on all 4s like real turtles. Now they have shoes and walk like people. I don't know, they look cooler. I like mentioning minor shit like that sometimes. Give me a break, fuck you. They not only come in green and red, but this game also adds yellow and blue Koopas too. Blue shells serve only to let Yoshi fly, and yellow Koopas give you a coin when you jump on them. Instead of retreating into their shells, jumping on a Koopa in this game will actually kick them out of it, turning them into Beach Koopas. Beach Koopas can crawl back into their shells, but only if you leave the shell be. This also means that you ain't gotta worry about them jumping out at you when holding it. If a beach Koopa crawls out into a yellow shell, they hide in it and it becomes a flashing shell that goes fucking berserk. It's super hard to dodge and is a pain in the ass to deal with. Almost all piranha plants in this game are like decapitated. I don't know why, they don't have stems and just kind of float at you. No, that's a lie. There is one level with classic piranha plants in the entire game, and they're all upside down. Why? Dry Bones got their first of 2 redesigns, just to make them bipedal like the live Koopas. Some of them even throw bones at you. There's a new updated variant of Cheep Cheeps called Fish Bones. They're pretty cute. And actually, it's weird. The only Cheep Cheeps in the game are flopping on the ground dying. Instead, the game has all these new kinds of fish. I kinda love that though. The enemies in this game really feel like a totally different ecosystem, because it is. This isn't the Mushroom Kingdom, it's Dinosaur Land, and we get different kinds of enemies. The only other Mario game I can think of that attempted something like that is Sunshine. I'd love to see Nintendo try it again. Speaking of fish, one of the new kinds is the Porky Puffer. These guys will often chase you around like the big Berthas from Mario 3. The difference being they don't one-shot you, which is nice. There's Fuzzies, these little, I don't know, fuzzballs? They look super goofy. Generally, they just serve as spike obstacles, but come on, look at this amazing design, they're great! There's Monty Moles, these adorable little mole guys based on the Rocky Wrenches from Mario 3. They pop out of the ground and walls and chase you. Super scary, but super cute. The last thing I can think of is that Thwomps kinda got a redesign to be less spiky. I guess they were too violent? There's also these tiny Thwomps. I love them. Get this, they're called the Wimps. I love them. And also there's this guy who, like, get this, it's a Hammer Brother, but he can fly, and is all things considered just generally amazing. The music in this game is absolutely iconic. It all takes advantage of the new shiny Super Nintendo sound chip, so now instead of beat boop music, we have stuff that sounds a lot more natural. Most of the music in this game takes after one melody, but simply changes the feel. A lot of games do that from time to time, and it usually gets annoying, like in the case of Super Smash Bros. Brawl. But in Mario World, I actually quite like it. Also, when you ride Yoshi, the music gains a little drum beat, and they didn't have to do that, but they did, and I love it. Multiplayer's back, and once again it's take-turn based, with Mario and Luigi taking turns every death or level clear. Hey, Luigi's got a new color scheme. Purple and green is actually my favorite color scheme ever, so this is cool as hell. Unfortunately, soon after, Luigi's overalls were changed back to dark blue, but oh well, no one cares as much about fucking pants colors but me, so whatever. Once again, Luigi is just a recolor of Mario, but in the All-Stars release, he gets not only a unique sprite, but totally unique animations. Look, he vomits up fireballs. Why? I don't fucking know, but it's funny so I like it. Then in the GBA version, he gets another sprite set for some reason. Then in Mario Maker 2, he gets another sprite set that is super close to the All-Stars version, but still is different. Why the fuck can't Nintendo decide what Luigi looks like in Super Mario World? Alright, endgame time. After Chocolate Island, the map takes you to this strange formation with a single level, the Sunken Ghost Ship. Upon entering, look, it's an airship from Mario 3, but clearly it crashed and sank into the ocean. It's full of boos and Eries too, so clearly something bad happened. At the end of it all isn't a goalpost or a boss, but one of the question mark balls you get for beating a boss in Mario 3. You touch it to beat the level, and upon doing so, the entrance of the Valley of Bowser is open. Isn't that badass as hell? The final world isn't nearly as ball-busting as it was in Mario 3, but it's a fair challenge. If you don't give up, it'll be conquered in no time. Here it is, Bowser's Castle. You can actually find a way to get to the back door of the castle, doing so cuts the level in half. The final castle has you go through 2 of a variety of possible challenges that you get to choose, which is a pretty neat idea. After that is the Ninja Room, and then Bowser himself. The Bowser fight is super memorable. He's flying around in his Koopa clown car, attacking you with all he's got, bouncing around to crush you, throwing giant bowling balls, all while intense music plays. This fight actually has a few phases even, so it's a long yet engaging fight. Way better than the Mario 3 one in my opinion. Peach even pops out of the clown car every now and then to give you mushrooms too. When defeated, Bowser blasts off into the distance like Team Rocket, with a cool Mode 7 effect and all, as Peach gracefully floats down to Mario and kisses him.
Mario's adventure is over. Mario, the princess, Yoshi, and his friends are going to take a vacation.
Fireworks go off in the background and the credits play while they trek home. God, this music makes me so emotional. Mario 3's credit music also makes me feel shit, but Mario Worlds just brings me back to simpler times, you know? You think that's dumb sounding, wait until I talk about Mario 64 credits. I like Mario credit music, sue me. As the credits go on, Mario, Peach, and Yoshi walk back across all the places you've come across throughout the game, alongside 7 unhatched Yoshi eggs. Eventually they all reach Yoshi's house when this happens. The music gets more frantic as you're shown all the enemies you've encountered thus far. Then finally, at the end of it all, alone, the end screen. What a game. But that's not the end. Yes sirree, this game has a post-game. A huge one at that. Now, I've already mentioned that a huge amount of levels in this game have secret exits, but what I've neglected to mention is that the reward for finding a few of these secret exits are the star teleporters that appear around the world map. There's 5 in total, all of them take you to a new world, Star Road. You could technically teleport across the world with these star shortcuts, by the way, so I'd recommend doing Star Road to make traveling across the world a little less tedious. Star Road is home to 5 levels, a fair bit more challenging than the main game, and in order to bridge the path between them, you'll have to find the secret exit in each one. Once you do, a 6-star teleporter appears in the center. This one takes you to a second secret world, Special Zone. Hey look, it's the Super Famicom logo. Fun fact, if you stay on the map for a while, the Mario 1 theme starts playing. Neat. All the levels are named after old school slang, and I'm all for that shit. Gnarly, tubular, way cool, awesome, groovy, mondo, outrageous, and funky. These are the hardest levels in the entire game, including the fucking course tubular, which I already mentioned. At the end of Funky, the game congratulates you in coins, very reminiscent of the Lost Levels, by saying you are a super player. For beating the Special Zone, the world turns into autumn weather, and a bunch of the enemies get reskinned. Like the Bullet Bills turn into Pidgeots for Mario 2, and all the Koopas get Mario masks? Where was I? Oh right, ports. Super Mario World went on to sell 20.6 million copies. It had an arcade port with the Nintendo Super System line of arcade machines. A reissuing of Super Mario All-Stars came out a year and a half after the original to include Super Mario World in the package. As mentioned earlier, this version had new Luigi sprites. It was ported to GBA as Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2, and was on the SNES Classic Edition, Switch Online, and the Wii, 3DS, and Wii U Virtual Consoles. I actually played it first on the Wii Virtual Console when I was a youngin'. Just like Mario 3, the Super Show had a new season to tie into the game, simply called Super Mario World. And there was a few manga tie-ins. As previously mentioned, KC Mario had an arc dedicated to the game, and there were new 4 Como gag mangas released for the game. And most importantly, Super Mario-kun. Super Mario-kun is the most popular Mario manga, and just like KC Mario, I've been waiting desperately for either a fan-made or official translation. A real one. I'll talk more about this manga in the eventual 90s roundup, but basically, it's big in Japan, and unlike KC Mario, it's still running to this day. Its first ever arc was a tie-in with Mario World, so that's why I'm talking about it now. Here in the US, we got Super Mario Adventures, a phenomenal set of comics originally released in serial format across Nintendo Power magazines. But I got a collection of them all that eventually released in 2016. I love Mario Adventures. This series has influenced me so much as a kid, I would go as far to say that this comic is a big reason why I'm such a big Mario fan. I totally recommend it. Super Mario World. What else can I say? People have been arguing for ages about whether this or Mario 3 is better. You already know me, Mario 3 is my favorite in the series, so I obviously think that one's slightly better. But only slightly. That's why I think it's such a huge debate. Super Mario World isn't a huge leap, but for what it is, it doesn't have to be. It's more of the awesomeness of Mario 3 on new hardware, and right now, that's enough. I love Super Mario World to death, with its charming visuals and catchy music, but the next game in the series is where Nintendo really had to get different, and no matter what you count as next, I'd say they sure did. Super Mario World, on its own, is a hallmark of the Mario series as well as the Super Nintendo. It's a fantastic game that will last you a good bit for the era. I'd recommend it to anyone. Alright, that wraps that up. I of course want to promote Alfie, my webcomic, as well as Twitter, where I once in a blue moon post art. I was on a podcast run by my buddies Matt, Xander, and Kenny a while ago called the S-Ring Podcast. I totally recommend checking those guys out. They're a good listen. Also, big shout out to my buddy Jumbo Donut, who did some voice clips for this video. He does live streams once in a blue moon, and I'd definitely recommend checking him out. That's all from me, friends. Thanks for watching my videos.